Alrighty, you know what we haven't done in a while? We haven't done any puzzles. So let's get to some puzzles. This is the daily puzzle. I have not done it yet. Let's take a look at what we got. A lot of material on the board. Okay, so we had a check. King ran away. Let's see. Bishop to g5 is met with pawn takes. Knight to f5 is met with pawn takes. This is interesting. Okay. So let's see. Bishop g5. Pawn takes. Pawn pushes. Pawn takes. Rook takes. No, that doesn't work. Okay. So knight to f5. Pawn takes. And then what's the follow-up from there? Queen to e4. Queen to e4. The pawn is no longer there. That comes with a check. The bishop is still in place. The king does have these two escape squares. Oh, okay, okay. What about a castle? No. Castle, king side, puts the king on the g square and the rook on the f, which is blocked in. I need the rook to come to e. Castling queen side gets the rook to the d file, but that doesn't help. Okay. I don't know. What do you guys think? Have you found it yet? Have you found it yet? Because I'm not finding it. Knight. I think this is my best option here. Knight to f5 comes with check. My opponent can take with the pawn. Then my queen has got queen to d6. That puts all of this blocked. It puts all of this blocked. It blocks down that diagonal. My opponent still has an escape square. My opponent would still have two escape squares. My queen is now here. That's covered by the knight. Bishop to g5 comes with check. The king can escape or the pawn can take. If the pawn takes, I have queen to g5 with check. My bishop would be gone. Opponent still has 2 escape squares. 3 escape squares. Oh boy. All right. Let's move on with life. Let's move on. Do we have anything else that is under attack that we can focus on? No, we don't. Is this knight trapped? No, it isn't. I don't know. I really don't know. All right. Let's count the material on the board here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So white is down in material. So white has sacrificed something along the way to get an advantage. So white is down in material. So how do we get back material? All right. The rook is undefended. Can we get the rook? No, because the e5 square is covered. My bishop is undefended. So I'd want to do something with that. I don't know, guys. I just don't know. Bishop. So if I were to go bishop to e5, it threatens this pawn. It seems weak sauce, doesn't it? Doesn't it seem really weak? Trade bishops and end up with a pawn at the end of the day. Now, my queen does end up on, you know, the g7 square with check, but then my opponent can just run away because that bishop's no longer there. Is there a queen sacrifice? All right, some of these puzzles, sometimes they encourage a queen sacrifice. Let's look at queen sacrifices. So if I go to the g7 square now with check, my opponent then retakes with the bishop. Now, is there any kind of mating net from there? Just don't see one. All right, what if we sacrifice here this pawn? Because this pawn seems to be getting in the way a lot. So what if we sacrifice here? So queen takes the pawn on e6. King takes it back. So the king is now here. Now the king is on a light square. My knight really can't do anything to challenge the king at that moment in time. I am at a loss, guys. All right, so we've now been futzing around. Wow, almost 10 minutes on this puzzle. Wow. Okay. All right. So that is the extent of my entire knowledge, guys. So this is 10 minutes on one puzzle, and I'm not solving it. So that happens sometimes. I'm gonna try the best. I'm gonna make a guess here. I think it has something to do with this knight to f5 move, but I don't know. It was. So now what does that open? Okay, so I guessed correctly. That was just a wild guess. You guys heard all my logic, why I guessed that, but that was just a guess. I didn't see the result. But now I have this here. But we already examined this move, right? So queen to d6. The queen is sitting on d6. That means the queen is guarding all these squares here. The queen is guarding these squares. The queen is guarding these squares. The queen is guarding these squares. The king has at least 2 squares that they can run away to. So if my queen is here and his king is on f7 or e8, then what? I don't have any follow-up. So now I'm down even more material. I've got to have a mating net, and I just don't see it. Well, all right. Is there anything guarding this square here? There's nothing guarding this square. So if the king is here or here, no, because if the king goes back, I mean, I got a perpetual, I guess. That doesn't seem good. If my queen is here and his king is here, then queen to e6 becomes checkmate. No, it doesn't, because he can block with his bishop. Ah, okay, I see something else. Bishop to d6 is something I had not considered. So bishop to d6, okay, so my queen is cutting off all of this. There it is. There it is, we found it. So that was the problem. I was never considering moving the bishop at this point in time. There it is, there's the mating net. Woo! 12 minutes on one puzzle. All right, way to go, Joe. So if anybody's still watching this, the thing I feel good about right now, though, okay, the thing I feel good about is let's look up here at the puzzle rating. Puzzle rating, that's a 1786 puzzle. That's a big boy puzzle. Joe got a big boy puzzle, so I feel pretty good about that, right? Feel pretty good about a big boy puzzle. All right, I'm happy. Moving right along. Moving right along. All right, next puzzle. Hopefully it's not as crazy as the last one. So it looks like material on the board is even. Okay. We don't have anything here because the queen is defending it. We could try chasing the queen. Opponent has to keep an eye on the f7 or f2 square, excuse me. My opponent has to keep an eye on f2 because I have a battering ram ready to drive home. So if I can chase the queen away, he can just go back. He can just retreat to whatever this square is. So if I go knight to the edge, he drops his queen back to h4. He's still got that square covered. What if I take a pawn? I take a pawn. I'm threatening to drive my pawn forward. Now my opponent could take, but then I can take back his bishop. So yeah, I'm giving up my my battering ram, but that's okay. Is that strong enough? Take a pawn, threaten a pawn push. But no, my opponent can then just... Yeah, my opponent is looking for this. My opponent is looking to get his bishop up at here. I take a rook with check. He takes back. And then I still have to move my queen out of the way. But I'm up material at that point in time. You guys want to try it? Let's try that. Let's try that. I'm not seeing anything else right away. Because notice even this kind of pin here, this doesn't work because my opponent will just let his knight sit there. Just let me take the knight because he can trade back. And he eliminates this battering ram. I keep calling it battering ram, but whatever this is, this construction here I've got. Right, I'm gonna try it. No. Okay, so the knight to the edge was the correct move. I wonder why my opponent didn't just move his queen out of the way, because that seems to... his queen is still keeping an eye on this square. All right, I guess I go up. I gotta look at that one. I wanna... Does it let me analyze it in here? No, it doesn't. Why? I don't understand that, guys. I don't understand why my opponent wouldn't just move his queen. Queen h4 to queen f2. Oh, because he can't take back the bishop. Okay, I did not see that. All right, so... Okay. All right, so here's where the puzzle begins. No, that's where I made a mistake. Let's delete that. Delete this one. Well, let me delete it. It's not gonna let me delete it. All right, whatever. So I didn't see that moving my knight out of the way puts an extra attacker on this square. So my opponent no longer has enough defenders on that square. He's only got 1, 2 defenders, and I've got 1, 2, 3 attackers in that square. So, okay. All right, so I missed that. I missed that one. Oh, well. Valid. Okay, we got time for one more. This is a long video for 3 little puzzles. 1, 2, 3 pieces. 1, 2, 3 pieces, and 2 rooks apiece. All right, so we are even in material. Even in material. My opponent looks like they're getting ready to castle. Whenever I do these puzzles, one of the first things I always look for is knight forks. All right, so I get a developing move with tempo. Is that sufficient to develop with tempo? I mean, my opponent can just move their queen, can't they? Oh, they can't move the queen because the queen is guarding the... Queen's guarding the knight. All right, so if I go knight to c6, queen has to keep an eye on the knight. Queen can't go to either of those squares. So the queen, it forces the queen to the c4 square. So knight here, queen to c4. And then what? And then what? So knight to c6. Boy, I cannot remember my numbering systems, can I? White gets the 1s and black gets the 8s. So knight to c6, queen to c4 is the only move to defend the knight, correct? And then how do I... Oh, and then I can push this pawn. I'm liking the look of that. It's either going to win me a knight or a queen. We're going to try that. But he just drops a whole knight. That was easy. That was easy. Okay. All right, so there we go. 3 puzzles in 15 minutes. 20 minutes. Oh my God, 20 minutes, guys. I'm so sorry. This took way too long. But you know, look, this is what we do. This is kind of the brain process of getting the brain fired up and getting going, because you know, we gotta get our brain in gear, and these puzzles help us. So these puzzles help us train our tactics. They help us to get in the chess frame of mind, and it helps us to spot these tactics. You know, these removing the defender, right? So that's what this one was. This is the defender of the knight. How do I remove the defender of the knight? You know, we attack that. I don't know why my opponent can't go here. Let's look at what happens if my opponent puts their... Yeah. Oh, it just wants me to... Oh, I see. Okay. Just continue the attack. And now... Oops, don't do that. Undo. Now, I got a threat on the bishop. My opponent has to keep an eye on both the knight and the bishop. Here asks for a queen trade. Stays even in material. Oh, this comes with check, though. But we're still even in material. Oh, no, and then when I pick that up at the end of the day. Okay. Yeah, because this comes with check. Didn't even see that. All right. So, yeah, these are the tactics that we're looking at, right? The tactic of removing the defender. How do we remove the defender of that piece, right? The piece is being defended, but if we can remove the defender, then that makes us happy. All right, guys. I will catch you in the next one, and we'll keep doing some puzzles. Later.